Let's get started. I know that everyone is probably coming back from a busy Monday. If your Monday is anything like mine, I know Mondays can be quite fast and furious. Um, so we'll start with I'll try and keep the presentation short because the I think the Q&A would be where a lot of people would derive specific value for their pain points in particular. So the presentation I'll be showing you guys, I'll be going over basically what the insights that I've seen um, in my work in the business process outsourcing space, things that we're seeing in terms of where Nigeria is positioned, what Nigerian talent is looking like, where I see it going, and how you can position yourself to take advantage of the shifting sands in the global talent space. And it's I can assure you that there's a lot of value in it, but because of time, I'll really just be skimming through a lot of the information I'll be sharing with you. And then please, in the Q&A, make sure you take notes in the Q&A. Feel free to bring me back to anything that you want me to go a bit deeper on, and I'll be glad to do so. So, how to become a global talent? Um, and I'm sure for anyone who hasn't met me before, you would ask, like, why would I be in the position to be able to give you any insight concerning this? And the reason why is because we've been in Parasol BPO, we've been working with Western businesses in some cases, basically drafting their job description, drafting their job descriptions, sitting in on their interviews, recruiting staff for them, and then getting feedback on that staff. We have people who have been working through us, and even when they leave, they give us exit interviews. So we have a very good view of what works and what doesn't. So let's get started. We'll start with a bit of context. Now, this first graph, can we all see the slides? Can we see the graph? Just give a thumbs up if you can. Emmanuel Oji, you are notating on the slides. All right? Okay. So the graph we can see here is showing the world population living in extreme poverty between 1820 to 2015. The green part of the graph that you can see going up and to the right shows the people that have been coming out of poverty and getting into more prosperity. And you can see the red part going down is the number of people who are living in extreme poverty beginning to reduce. So this is the world population for all continents. That's Africa, North America, Asia, everything. All right? Where does Africa sit in this? All right? Now, on this next graph, you can see Africa is the blue part at the bottom. People living in extreme poverty, you can see for most of the other continents or geographic parts of the world, that number has been reducing. For Africa, slightly increased, and it hasn't reduced. So it's either been flat or been on a slight upward trajectory. Okay, so all right, on a slight upward trajectory. Now, why does that matter? It matters because it's showing that we're not participating in global trends, in the positive global trends. All right? Everybody seems to be doing better. Why aren't we? Okay? Well, let's keep moving. Now, but where are we? A lot of the people who are on this call, probably a Nigerian professional working within the Nigerian professional workspace. And there's this survey that was carried out by Intel Point on how much Nigerians earn per month. My argument has been for the longest time that I think that Nigerian workers are the most overqualified and underpaid professionals in the world. And I believe that this graph proves it. Only 2.4% of Nigerians earn above 200,000 naira per month. I'll say that again. Only 2.4% of Nigerians earn above 200,000 per month, the equivalent of about, I think, $125 a month. So it's not just a function of whether they are qualified or not, but Nigerian professionals are not participating in the global economy as much as they could. And that's a huge gap that needs filling. And I'm sure a lot of people want to figure out how to do that. So let's proceed. How can you break that trend? All right. Now, I'll tell a quick story that it's not even a story because it happens so often. So I'll just compress all these stories that comes together into one story, which is quite a few times people come up to me and like, hey, I'm interested in getting a job. I'm interested in remote work. I want to work with people. I want to work with an American company, so on and so forth. And the selling point they'll give me would be something like, oh, you know, the guy is a nice guy. The guy is a nice guy. He used to work at this place, but they sacked him. But you know, he's nice and he focuses on what he's supposed to do. That's not a selling point for how you get a job globally. Just to understand, if you are entering the global labor market, you are not just competing against Tunde, Mohammed, or Unamdi. You are going to be competing with Dharmesh from India. You are going to be competing with, I don't know what their traditional names are in Singapore, but you'll be competing with Singaporeans. You'll be competing with the Filipinos. You'll be competing with the Sri Lankans. You'll be competing with the Bangladeshis. So being a nice person is not enough. You have to bring something to the table, and that's how you break the trend. And the reason why I flag this is because there is a frame that I think people use to approach why they should get a job or not. And you see it all the time in the news. Oh, we need to give our youth jobs. What does that mean? Nobody just shares jobs. The only reason why people give jobs is because there's something that you can do for that employer. So the framing for how to look at the job market, I have seen a lot in Nigeria, is wrong. So what do you do? First things first is to change the frame. There's this saying that I love from Charlie Munger, in which he says, invert. Always invert. And what does that mean? It means turn a situation or problem upside down and look at it backwards. Now everybody thinks, oh, we are supposed to be rich. Nobody should be in poverty. Everybody should have a job. Everybody should be able to live a prosperous life. But let me show you another quote that I love by G.S. Bogle, in which he says, humanitarians often talk of tackling the root causes of poverty. But poverty doesn't have a root cause. It is the natural state of existence. The real question is, and this is where we're inverting, what causes prosperity? All right. What causes prosperity? What has the world been doing right that has led to prosperity? Because for the majority of human history, human beings have been poor. That is more, if you look at the millions of years that human beings have existed, we've only been reasonably prosperous for the last 100 or less. All right? So that's the exception. So how do you become the exception? And now, in terms of talking about global talent, the question is not, I want this job, is what makes you globally employable? How do you become globally employable? And I want you guys to think about something like, here's how you do it. You want to have, for those of you that did inter-house sports in school, I'm sure you all know that person that, oh, maybe he knew how to run fast or he knew how to play football. So during inter-house sports, you see everybody wants that person on their team. That is what makes you globally employable. You want to be the person that everybody from anywhere around the world, they want you on their team. That is what makes you globally employable. And I know a lot of times people are very negative in Nigeria about how, oh, you know, Nigeria, this is happening in Nigeria. But there are some advantages that are very specific to you as a Nigerian that you can leverage. All right, so let's keep going. Here's why any organization or any business will want you on their team. There are eight reasons why they will want you on their team. Any organization, whether an NGO, any business, whether telecoms or anything. These 8 reasons are why they will want you on their team. And I'll go through them very quickly. 1, are you increasing their revenue? 2, are you bringing market awareness? Are you making them more popular if that's something that they want? 3, are you attracting customers to their business? 4, when the customers have been attracted, are you one of the people that makes the customers happy? I'm sure you people all have operated within businesses where you have a customer that is like, I don't want to talk to anybody. This is the only person I want to talk to. 5, are you making the company grow? Oh, we were selling only pure water before, but because this person came in, we were now able to look at bottled water and create a market in that space. So we've grown into the bottled water business too. 6, employee happiness. And when you are there, does the morale, like there are people that they'll be like, look, if I sack this person now, it will mess with the company morale. And we don't need that. 7, what you do, does it reduce cost? And then 8, do you drive process efficiency? Do you make things more efficient? Do you make them go faster, cheaper, quicker? Every organization wants somebody on their team that brings a majority of these things in with them. All right? A lot of times we look at the skill. You are reading books, or you went to school and got a degree, or the whole purpose of that skill is to help an organization achieve one of these 8 things. That is the whole purpose of that's why any organization will want to hire you. All right? And a lot of times people go into this place, go into these jobs, and like, look, I'll just do my thing. I'll do whatever they tell me to do. I'll just do it, and then I'll go home. And that's why you can't compete, because there are other people who will be ready to do it. Okay. Now, how are you able to achieve or contribute to anyone or any of these things? That's where you have to start thinking past just your technical skill and start thinking of a set of skills that makes you the type of person that any organization or any business would want on their team. And now there might be other things, there might be other ways to do this. What I am sharing is what me I know, what I have seen, and what I have seen work. So what you need, the skill stack. Now, what is a skill stack? A skill stack is a set of skills that allow you to solve most of these 8 objectives for any organization at any given time. All right? A skill stack. Now, here's another way that I want you to reframe how you look at your career. A lot of people just think, and fair enough, it's actually accurate. You want to have a skill that they will hire you for. But now the global market is so competitive that you want a set of skills that are stacked together in a way that makes you unbeatable, that makes you globally competitive. You want a set of skills that all of them on their own, they are not remarkable. And you will see them. There are things that you can learn within a month, 2 months. But when you put them together, it makes you a talent to be contended with globally. Let's see them. These are the ones that I have seen. Number 1, communication skills. Number 2, project management. Number 3, marketing. Number 4, data literacy. Number 5, the ability to use artificial intelligence. And number 6, Googleability. Okay, let's start looking at them one by one, because this is where the meat is. All right. Communication skill. First and foremost, you need to be able to read, write, and speak English at a high level. You just need to. In today's world, you need to be able to read, write, and speak English at a high level. And I'll say something here. One thing that I see a lot of is some people have used AI to replace their ability to write, especially at a high level. No, you have to know how to do this. And this is where I'm saying one of the advantages that you have as a Nigerian is that English is our lingua franca. So that gives you a very powerful, because it's easy, people underestimate this. Your ability to speak English, to read in English, to write in English is such a powerful advantage for you. And what you can do is sharpen that skill. Sharpen that skill. Don't outsource. Like, I'm not saying don't use AI, but a lot of times I just see a lot of people, I'll just see a writing and I'll just see something that they write and I'll just be like, this is not even a human being. You need to be able to read, write, speak at a high level. I'll tell you guys a quick story. One of the insights we got within our BPO, one of the reasons why a lot of American companies are beginning to look at West Africa to work with Ghanaians, to work with Nigerians, is for some reason they prefer our accent compared to Asians. For some reason. So do you know what that means if you are able to speak at a high level? They relate with it more. So we need to go through this quickly. If not, so we can speak. If anybody has any questions, I can go into that a bit more. Second, you need to be able to communicate concisely, clearly, and confidently. And that is why you need communication frameworks. You need to be able to use communication frameworks. What do I mean by communication frameworks? There are communication frameworks like PEEL, that's PEEL. There's SCQA, situation, complication, question, answer. For people who do a lot of interviews, there's STAR, situation, task, action, result. What communication frameworks allow you do is that it allows you compress the most important information into a short period of time and allows you to communicate it clearly. Okay? And so something like the SCQA framework was actually developed by, I think, McKinsey. So it's actually, you have to be able to communicate at the level of one of the big four consultants. All right? So communication frameworks are key. There's the Minto pyramid principle. All these things, they will help you to communicate clearly and at an international level. All right? 3, active listening. Everybody, if you spend any time on LinkedIn, this is something you see a lot. Active listening. Oh, you have to do active listening. What does active listening mean? I'll just keep it very short and very simple. Active listening is basically when somebody is talking to you, if by the time the person has finished telling you what they said to you, you are able to summarize what they said back to them, and they nod and they say, yes, exactly, that means you've been actively listening. Now, seems like a small thing, but you would be shocked at how powerful this is. I'll tell you guys a quick story. There's during one of our training cohorts last year, we brought in a Nigerian who had moved to the US, who was working in customer success. And when he got there, he asked in his new company, who is the most successful person in this department? And then the guy, they pointed out the guy was really pulling up like really, really good numbers, you know. And then the Nigerian guy, let's call him Tony. So Tony gets there, he's like, okay, who's the guy pulling in the biggest numbers? They're like, oh, let's call him James. It's James. He now goes and checks what are the numbers that James is pulling in. And then he starts studying James. Here's what James knows how to do. James is American. He knows, so when he's talking to clients and talking to customers, he will now be like, oh, you know, like, you went to Illinois. Okay, did you go to, he'll mention some tourist spots and everything. This is like, because he knew the geography of the US, James could relate with everybody that he was talking to. Meanwhile, Tony is Nigerian. He doesn't know America up to James. What does he do? He asks questions. He will ask them questions like, oh, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I did this, this is this. As they are talking, he's taking notes. He's taking notes. They'll be like, oh, so I went for the Super Bowl. Which team do you support? Like, oh, I support this. Okay, you write it down. So I've never really understood. American football. What do the guy will talk about American football, blah 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 blah. You know, and in the end, they will now, after they finish talking to Tony, they will now be like, oh my God, Tony, yeah, it's so good talking to you. Tony didn't say anything. He was just listening, actively listening. And that's a very, very powerful thing in communication overall. And you'll be surprised at how far it will get you. All right? Cultural awareness. Another thing is we ran an internal survey last year with a few of our Western employers. The number one issue that they flagged in terms of reservations in working with Nigerian talent wasn't epileptic power supply. It wasn't time difference. It wasn't work quality. The number one thing was cultural fit. Can this person blend with us? And I'll tell you, and one of the things that we had noticed was also, we noticed that people who maybe had done their masters in the UK or US or just outside the country and come back to Nigeria tend to do better in terms of interviews and then joining our companies. So that's good and fine. But for some other people who weren't able to go and do their masters, how do you overcome that? It's by being able to be able to meet that cultural fit threshold. All right. To show you how powerful this is, there was a job that we were hiring for. The employer specifically told us, he told us, I want somebody with a master's in HR. I want the person to be female. So out of 3 candidates, we sent in three candidates. 2 of them had those specifications. The 3rd person, first of all, he was a man. Second of all, he did not have a master's in HR. I think had a background in fashion design. But he went into that meeting, he went into his interview, and they felt such a cultural connection with him that they're like, you know what, we'll train him, let him join. That's how powerful cultural awareness and cultural fit can be. All right? We even do a training in a module called American Culture and Business Communication that addresses all these things. But anyway, secondly, let's move to the next. I spent a bit of time on that. So then you need to have project management skills. You need to have the ability to plan, execute, analyze and improve, analyze and optimize, and then improve. All right? These things improve your ability to deliver on anything. And there are 2 things. When you are, look, I'll say this for Nigerians. Nigerians are go-getters and they know how to deliver. The reason why I would still strongly encourage you to go and get a PMP or some sort of project management certification is on the documentation side. As you are executing projects, you'll be generating data. You want to be able to capture that data so that you can analyze and optimize and improve. All right? Those are the things that you want to keep in mind. So project management, I'll give this to a lot of Nigerians. Their ability to execute is very, very good. The ability to document, however, isn't as good. And doing any one of these project management courses would really, really help with that. So project management, you have to be able to plan, execute, and also things like prioritizing, knowing how to know what's important and what's urgent, so on. Okay. Thirdly, marketing. Now, another thing, this one I will say, Nigerians do not know how to market. Specifically for the American labor market, you have to know how to sell. You have to know marketing and sales. It doesn't matter, even if you are an accountant. You have to know how to sell. Now, people automatically assume, especially here, that, oh, when you say marketing and sales, that what we're talking about is, oh, okay, come buy this one. If you don't buy them, they're not going to give you. Just try it now, the best thing for the market. No, that's badgering. That's not marketing. Your ability to market is based on knowing what your product or services benefits are, and then linking it to the pain point of the person, to the client or customer. That is what marketing is. That is how to sell. It's not, oh, come and buy, it's cheap. How can you, and it goes back to your communication skills. Your communication skills form the bedrock for this. And once again, when we say communication skills, I know it comes with an association that it means that you have to be able to talk a lot. You don't have to be able to talk a lot. If you know how to do active listening, that is how you find out what exactly is ailing the person you are talking to. And if you can connect whatever it is you are doing, whatever it is you are offering to that person's pain point, why will they not? This even applies even in interviews. And I see it too, like, oh, we put out a job description for a job opening. And then people send in CVs that don't. So when you see a job description, when you see a job opening with a job description, a lot of people, That is the employer telling you what their pain point is. Then people now send in their CVs that they just wrote because they felt like writing it for them. And I tell everybody this, your CV, and this is a slight digression, your CV is not a historical document, it's a marketing document. And it follows this principle. Your CV is supposed to show your benefits as a product or service to the pain points of the employer, which the employer has shown you through their job description. They've told you this is what's paining me. So your CV is supposed to address that. And that is why your CV is a marketing document. All right? We still have a bit to go. Just one more thing. Digital marketing, the reason why I put that in there, you don't have to become a digital marketer. Just have an understanding of how digital marketing works. The reason why I put this in there is because, for example, executive assistant roles are quite common. But more and more and more with each passing day, we are seeing that a critical aspect of executive assistant roles is it's required that the person needs to know how to market digitally. All right. So for other people, engineers like you, the idea is, like I said, in the US, everybody is selling. And if you want to get the job and keep the job, you need to be able to speak on behalf of your employer, know the product, be able to speak to the customers, be able to deliver whatever it is that whatever service they are providing, as if you are the employer themselves. All right? So let's keep going. Data literacy, you guys know about this. You have to be able to read and understand data. You have to be able to clean and manipulate data. Then you need to be able to glean insights and make data-driven decisions. That is what will give you your edge. Once again, now nobody is asking that you become a core data scientist, but you should be able to find your way around it. You should be able to find your way around Excel, more than copying and pasting into cells. You should be able to know things like maybe VLOOKUP, like index match, be able to move big data around a bit and, figure out stuff. Okay? Artificial intelligence. You have to know how to talk to AI. What I have seen a lot of is people use AI as a shortcut to not do work. And that's the wrong way to look at AI. The way you want to look at AI is that it's a superpower to do more work, to increase your productivity. All right? And that's why I wrote these three things. One, you need to know how to be able to talk to AI. Not just, you need to know how to talk to prompt engineering. I'm sure a lot of you know about this. Then, here's where the source is. You need to be able to talk to it in a way that gives you an edge in your particular field. All right? You need to be able to talk to it in a way that you can get insight for your particular field, and also add to it that how does it work for me as a cybersecurity engineer? How does it work for me as a network engineer? How does it work for, like, in a very niche way? That is what gives you the superpower. That's what gives you the edge. And like I said earlier, you have to be able to use it in a way that optimizes your productivity. So things that would take you 2 weeks, you are able to do them in 2 hours. All right? Remember what I said about process efficiency, the things that companies are looking for. Finally, Googleability. Look, they don't, once again, I'll speak about Americans. This might be a general comment, but quite a few people have encountered this. So a lot of Americans don't even know where Nigeria is. They won't know Nigeria, but if you say Africa, yes, okay, fine. They will know Africa. So when you are going to work with someone, the first thing that they're going to do is that they're going to check for your online presence. Like, does this person even really exist? And the only way they know is to Google you. So you need to have an online presence. I'll give you a quick tip. Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn has one of the best search engine optimization engines of almost all of them. All right. Like if you build a presence on LinkedIn and somebody searches for you, a lot of your LinkedIn results will pop up. So build a presence on LinkedIn. Second, all the any online community that you are part of, contribute, help build stuff, contribute to it. All right. Then thirdly, develop a point of view, write stuff, create. Well, I almost said create content, but that almost trivializes it. But contribute to the conversation in your space. All right. All this contributes to your Googleability. All right. So let me quickly run through this because this was the most important part. One, develop your communication skill. This is easy, but people don't do it well. Don't do it well, and it will take you so far. Sharpen your project management skills, your ability to plan, execute, analyze, and optimize and improve. All right? You have to know how to sell. You have to know how to sell, and not in a, like I said, it's not by talking a lot, but you have to understand how what you do helps people achieve what they need. That is what marketing really is. All right? Then data literacy, being able to read and understand data, clean and manipulate data, artificial intelligence, being able to use it. There's a saying that went viral a while ago that AI won't take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI will. Okay? Then Googleability, you have to have a presence. Now, all this is key, but it has to sit on top of your domain expertise. And these are things that you need to be able to communicate properly, especially online or anywhere that you speak to someone. You have to be able to communicate it. And what are the three aspects you need to cover to be able to show that you have domain expertise in any topic or area that you are operating in? One, basics. You should be able to answer down-to-earth, reasonable questions about what you do. All right? Then expertise. What are all the experts saying? Even if you don't agree with it, but you understand the expert consensus in that area. And then finally, this is where you can have a hot take. All of you that spend time on Twitter, you'll see it. Somebody just has a hot take and says, what is your own opinion about where you see your field going? Now, on this too, there's something I want to say that once again, another advantage that you as a Nigerian have, that other people don't. The thing with AI is that, look, don't be afraid of AI. AI only knows what is readily available on the internet. That's where this current stage of AI is. It still only knows what is readily available on the internet. Now, you and I know, all of us that were in Nigeria together, you know, they see Nigeria for internet. You can't Google Nigeria. You have to experience Nigeria to experience Nigeria. Now, for a lot of you, you think that that's a disadvantage, but no, that is an opportunity for you to develop powerful domain expertise, even in areas that you think are saturated. There are a lot of business models. There are a lot of organizational models. There are a lot that once they come in contact with Nigeria, it changes. You can be the expert in that space. All right? You can't, it's not, you don't, it's not, if it's stuff that people will not be able to find on any website or anything online, and even AI. And I'm sure, ask for all of you, I'm sure when you go, you use ChatGPT or something else or whatever, and you Google it about things in Nigeria that you know something about, the amount of hallucination you get in return is astounding. That is a gap that can be filled by you. And that is why the set of skills that I also spoke about, the your ability. Like I said, you don't have to be an expert data analyst, but at least be able to gather it, be able to put it together. All right. So I'll just stop here. I think I've actually gone on for longer than I was planning to. I'll just end with this lovely saying that that Jeff Bezos, in his final shareholders letter in 2021, before he retired from Amazon, that he said, and he speaks about originality, about being able to carve a niche for yourself. All right. And it says, we all know that distinctiveness, originality is valuable. We are all taught to be yourself. What I'm really asking you to do is to embrace and be realistic about how much energy it takes to maintain that distinctiveness. The world wants you to be typical in 1,000 ways. It pulls at you. Don't let it happen. Use your Nigerianness as a strength. All right. So thank you, guys. I think I'll stop here.